Hello, long time no see. I haven't filmed a YouTube video in like a month. Well, it probably doesn't feel like that for you because they were like pre-planned to upload, but yeah, it's been a while. I've been tired. I don't know what else to say. I've been tired. I've been working really hard to allow myself to rest and not feel guilty about it. And I've been really worried about falling back into autistic burnout, and so I'm making rest a priority, and when I feel like I'm doing too much, I make myself stop, which is really difficult because my brain likes to gaslight me and say, you are being lazy, you're faking this, keep going. Yeah, my brain is not nice, but you know, that's what therapy's for. Today I want to talk about autistic burnout because I am finally coming out of it after 2 years, 2.5 years, something around that. When I say that I'm coming out of burnout, what I mean by that is that I am no longer in that debilitated, depressed, burned out state, but I am not 100% yet. I am in the process of getting there because, like I said, it is a very, very slow process. I am slowly adding responsibilities back into my life because my previous lifestyle was not sustainable. Very obviously not sustainable. But now I don't know what is sustainable. So I'm adding like one responsibility every week or every other week, seeing if I can handle that, saying, okay, this is good, I can handle this, let me add something else, because I don't know where my threshold is. And so I need to be very careful, because if I add too many things too quickly and I crash, I still don't know where my threshold is. So I'm trying to take it very slow, very strategic. I'm working both with my therapist and with my parents with this because this is going to be a long process. I think it's been a month and a half of me slowly adding responsibilities back in, and I've only gotten up to like 4 responsibilities. It is annoying because I just want to be done. I just want to have all my responsibilities. I just want to be out living my life. But I know that I don't know where my threshold is, and I know that I need to take it very slowly. Before I get into how I got out of autistic burnout, I first want to give just a little rundown of like what autistic burnout really is, because a lot of people aren't aware, and that is a-okay. When I say autistic burnout, people that don't know what it is think, oh, burnout, yeah, I get burnt out sometimes too, and it is far different from just casual burnout. I dislike the name autistic burnout because it leads people to assume, oh yeah, I get burnt out sometimes too, I understand what you're experiencing, because it's not burnout. I would define it as like a mental health crisis that autistic people experience, because it's so much more than that. It affects your entire nervous system. It disrupts your brain and your body, and it drastically changes your functionality and productivity and your emotions and the way that you experience things. It mirrors depression a lot of the time. It looks a lot like depression because you are suddenly struggling to do things, you're really tired, you're really burnt out, you're having out of character outbursts. But with burnout, it's a state of like extreme exhaustion rather than like depression. Now, don't get me wrong, you can experience like both at the same time. For me, autistic burnout triggers depression, so I experience both kind of at the same time. But they are two different things. A lot of autistic people don't find out that they are autistic until they hit autistic burnout and seek medical attention. And that's what happened to me. I was just living my life not knowing I was autistic, and then I hit autistic burnout when I was in college, and I didn't know that it was autistic burnout. I thought I was experiencing depression or some mental health crisis, and I sought help, and after about a year of trying to figure out what was wrong, I was diagnosed with autism, and they were like, oh, autistic burnout. So yeah, I was in autistic burnout for so long because I wasn't treating it like autistic burnout. I wasn't helping myself with the autistic burnout because I didn't know what was happening. So I think that can be a big factor in the reason why it takes so long for people to come out of it, is because for a big chunk of time, they probably don't know that that's what they're experiencing. Autistic burnout can be a very scary and confusing thing to experience, especially if you don't know that that's what's happening to you, because you lose a lot of your functionality when you fall into burnout. You can no longer do things that you used to be able to do. And it's very confusing and upsetting to experience. Like, I loved to cook for myself, and when I fell into burnout, I could no longer cook. I could no longer feed myself. It got to a point where my parents had to move me back home because I couldn't take care of myself when I was previously living independently. So it's weird to all of a sudden like have to rely on other people. And obviously that is a weird like ego mental confusion to happen. But it's also confusing for people that are watching this. Like, what do you mean you can't do that? I saw you do it last year. You've been doing it your whole life. Other people don't understand as well. Like, you don't understand what's happening and other people don't understand what's happening. So there can be a lot of gaslighting, both from other people and like from your own brain. And it's just confusing and scary and exhausting, and you don't know what's happening. I'm like laughing about this, but like it was so scary when it was happening. I have to make light of it now, you know? If you're watching this video right now, you're probably like, yeah, I know I'm experiencing autistic burnout. I know it's scary. I know it's confusing. How do I get out of it? Because that was my question for like a year and a half. Well, yeah, okay, I'm experiencing autistic burnout. What do I do? How do I help myself? The thing that sucks about autistic burnout, oh, hi Evie. Okay, Evie might be joining us. Mwah. The thing that sucks about autistic burnout is that there is no one fix like other mental health issues. You know, if you have anxiety, you can take anti-anxiety medication. If you have depression, you can take antidepressive medication. Autistic burnout doesn't have like a fix, a therapy, a drug. The thing that helps autistic burnout is lifestyle changes and rest. And you might be saying, lifestyle changes? Like, I can't change anything about my life. I have responsibilities, I have things to do, I have this, I have that, my job. You need to make some sort of lifestyle change, because the reason that you are in burnout is because your life is not sustainable for you. You are doing too much. Your lifestyle is not sustainable. There's something that needs to give. You cannot continue putting this much effort into all the things that you have going on. And I know that this can be extremely difficult because a lot of us autistics hit autistic burnout when we're adults. And we have jobs, we might have kids, we have spouses, like we have things that we need to do. We have bills to pay, you know, that kind of stuff. So I understand how like daunting it can be. Like, what do you mean I need to change things about my life? I can't. I have stuff to do, and I know, but there are things that you can do that you might not be thinking about. Find little things in your life that you can give up, responsibilities that you can give up, and it won't drastically change your life. And find accommodations to things that you need to keep in your life. Now, I'm in a slightly different position. When I hit autistic burnout, I was 20 years old. I was a college student. I was still relying a lot on my parents. So I gave up a lot of responsibilities and gave it back to them. I gave up cooking, I gave up a lot of housework, I gave up a lot of scheduling of myself. I gave a lot of that back to my mom and said, can you please help me? Can you cook a little bit for me to make sure that I'm still eating? Can you do my laundry sometimes because that's too much? Can you help me with this and that around the house? And it was very hard to give these things up because I felt lazy. I felt like I was putting so much on my mom, but she saw how much I needed help and she was willing to do it. So I'm sure there are people in your life that you can lean on and give some responsibilities to. And then there's the mental rest. If you're anything like me, you're gonna need to go to therapy and work through like internalized ableism and like, I'm not lazy, I can rest and it's okay, before you can get to the place of actually resting. Because for me, I would try to rest and my brain would tell me really mean things and just be very not nice to me. And so even though I was sitting on the couch resting, I was not resting because my brain was just spiraling and I was, you know, it was taking up so much mental energy, like fighting my own mental battles. So after a lot of therapy, I can now say that I'm not perfect, but I can rest and not beat myself up over it. And look, when I say you need to rest to overcome autistic burnout, it's a lot of rest. It's not, oh yeah, like I just slept and watched TV and did a little hobby for like a week straight, like I've rested. No. It's like years. It can be very annoying because like a year into autistic burnout, I was like, I've rested. I've done it. Can I be done now? And my brain was like, nope, we are still tired. And I was like, oh my gosh, how long is this going to take? Like, I'm tired of resting. I want to get back to my life. I am bored. And that mental, I'm bored, I need to get back to my life can cause its own set of mental health spiraling out of control thoughts. Because it's like, you really feel like you're going to be stuck in this place, in this state forever. And that can cause the depression to sink in, feeling like you're going to be stuck like that forever and you're never going to be able to do the things that you once did. Yeah, that's depressing. I promise you it will get better. But if you are trying to get back to the life that you were living before autistic burnout, I can tell you right now, you're going to need to adjust your goals, because the life that you were living before is not the life that you should be living. You are in this state that you are in right now because of that lifestyle that you are living. You need to change things about your lifestyle. And that can be a hard pill to swallow. I fought that for a very long time. I was like, no, I liked my life. I want to get back to it. I don't want to give anything up. I was happy. I was doing things. I don't want to not do those things anymore. Like, I like that lifestyle. And I was trying to get back to that when that was an unrealistic expectation. And obviously I wasn't meeting that standard. And so I was getting frustrated with myself. So it took a really long time to readjust my expectations and set new goals that were actually realistic for myself. Usually I write a script and like read off the script when I'm filming a YouTube video, but today I was like, I don't need a script. I can do this all off the top of my head. So I'm sorry if this is a little all over the place, and I'm just gonna reiterate some of my points because I'm worried that I just babbled a bunch. To get out of autistic burnout, you gotta give up responsibilities. It could be big things, it could be little things, doesn't matter. But like, clearly something's gotta give. So you might wanna start choosing what to give up before you get to a point where you can no longer get out of bed and you have to give things up. You don't wanna get to that space. I tried to keep all of my responsibilities and said I didn't want to give anything up, and it got to the point where I could no longer get out of bed and I was living independently, and my parents had to come and get me and bring me home because I could physically not take care of myself. I couldn't shower, I couldn't eat, I couldn't remember what day it was. And I had to give up all of my responsibilities. My parents were like, you can't take care of yourself. We are doing everything for you. And they just like kind of took all my responsibilities from me. And that felt horrible. I felt like I was useless. That made me very depressed. You don't want to get to that state. Start giving things up. Start giving up responsibilities that you want to give up rather than being forced to give everything up. The next thing you need to do is accommodate yourself. Make life easier for you. I know that it's impossible to give up some responsibilities, but put things in place that make it easier. Maybe you rely on another person to help you with things. Maybe you buy accommodations that help you with that thing. Whatever it is, you need to be accommodating yourself more. The third thing is you need to go to therapy. If you're not in therapy already, you're gonna need to find a therapist. Preferably a therapist that understands neurodivergency. If they're an autistic therapist, that's even better, because there's going to be a lot of internalized ableism that you're going to have to work through, because you are going to say, what do you mean I can no longer do this thing? I've been doing it my whole life. I can push on, I can keep going. But no, you can't. You need help, and you are disabled, and it's okay that you might not be able to do that thing. Like, there's just a lot of mental crap that you need to work through. Also, learning how to rest and not beating yourself up and not feeling guilty or lazy or gaslighting yourself. Like, there's just so much that you're gonna need to unpack. And then the fourth thing is rest. And like I said, you think you might be rested, but you probably need more rest. And then the last thing that I want to touch on is don't move too quickly. Don't force yourself and try to rush the healing, getting out of burnout process, because it is a process and it is going to take a long time. If you try to rush it, you're going to take on too many responsibilities too quickly, and you're gonna push yourself back farther deeper into burnout. And that's happened to me a couple times in the burnout recovery process. I thought I was getting better. I was feeling better. I was feeling rested. And I was like, this is wonderful. I'm better. Let me go do all these things. Let me take back my responsibilities. Let me go see my friends. Let me go do this. Let me go do that. And I would maybe get a couple days or like a week, and then I would crash and burn again because I was not fully recovered. And I just wanted to get back to my life so badly that I was pushing myself. I was doing too many things and I was not yet recovered. And it sent me further into burnout, and I kind of had to start all over again. So it takes time. I think that's all for today's video. My apologies if this is all over the place. But yeah, if you are struggling with autistic burnout, you are not alone. It will get better, even though your brain likes to tell you that it won't. And if you're not in therapy, please go to therapy. So yeah, bye guys.